My name is Darren Harbour, and my light shines everywhere.
My name is Darren the Inspirer, and it is time for you to look, listen, and feel me. This journey has been a long time in the making. A lot of building, a lot of knocking down doors. A lot of opponents, for real. Opponents like discrimination. Opponents like depression. Opponents like anxiety, oppression, addiction. Opponents that keep us held down in the things that we want to do despite our differences. I'm the first blind wrestler and the best. And I plan to show you all how to see with the eyes of inspiration.
I grew up in Gary, Indiana. That's kind of a rough area. It definitely has its history, and it makes you tougher. We grew up pretty poor, making it, just making it work, making ends meet, still presenting ourselves humbly and peacefully, assistant living, myself, my little sister, and then my baby sister and my little brother, a single parent home, and growing up like that, growing up poor, growing up where you are having to make choices of priorities over what's important versus what you have versus what you can make do with, I think builds for a pretty creative mind if you stay positive and stay strong to your faith. We also did not know that I was born with my eye condition, retinitis pigmentosa. And this condition starts very early on, pretty much right at birth, you immediately start to slowly lose your sight. It is a degenerative eye condition. So even at the age of 1, I had a pair of pretty thick glasses just for drawing and coloring because it was difficult to see. Originally, and when I had more sight, I thought wrestling was ridiculous. I remember watching it with my cousins, some WCW and Nitro, and I could not really conceptualize what I was looking at. I'm like, what is going on? I favored my comic books and Mortal Kombat, and video games and such, but this was something so out of the box. I guess I couldn't put a definition on it, and I turned my nose up to it, a great deal originally, only to find out that out of all the seeking of artistic endeavors that has happened over the years of my life, it's actually the very answer of everything that encompasses art and what it really means to create and personify oneself.
And it's gotta be. I would. That way it's like, here we go.
For years, I've been trying to sign up for a wrestling academy, and for years, all I've been hearing is it's dangerous. You're small. Back to that again. How is this going to work with you not being able to see? What people are people going to be willing to work with you? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I'm thinking, okay, I've been in wrestling. I've been studying martial arts for years. You're not going to tell me that you don't get sweat in your eyes and that you're perfectly visual the entire time you're doing anything, and it's one of those things where when you have the choice over your decisions versus when somebody else is kind of holding the door saying, I can shut it. And there's times where people can shut the doors lawfully, and there's times that they shouldn't, there's times that they can't, and there's times that you can prove it. So I've been waiting for years for someone to have the nerve, the know-how, the willingness, and the genuine willingness to train someone who is different, but who's ready to, put his sweat on the mat just like anybody else.
My name is Ronnie Roberts. My relationship with Darren, I guess I am teacher, mentor, advisor, we would say that. I'm a trainer as well, mainly trainer. I teach him the art of professional wrestling. I first met Darren, someone contacted us for Darren, saying that he was looking for pro wrestling training, become a professional wrestler. And so I think I called him initially. I either called or messaged him, and then he met me here. And I met him, I think it was almost just he and I here at the time. He came in, introduced himself, and me, I don't judge anything by their cover. I mean, the guy's blind, sure, but that doesn't mean that he can't be a wrestler. I understood that he's done theater work, he's done all this stuff, so I came in meeting him with the expectation of, okay, well, this guy's done a lot of things that are gonna help him in the professional wrestling world. So I'm gonna feed this direction.
In 2004, I moved to the Kentucky School for the Blind as we had migrated from Gary down to southern Indiana. And that is where more positivity started to shine through me in the appreciation of all the adaptive sports that the Schools for the Blind had to offer. I lost more sight by this point, and I realized, my hearing while playing goal ball has gotten better. My sensory awareness on the wrestling mat has gotten better. Even doing flips across a mat as a cheerleader. And everybody's asked, blind people cheerlead? Yes, we cheerlead. And I've never, ever dropped a cheerleader. Not ever. Graduating and entering into the real world, that was, a different ball game because the world is not designed for the blind. When I first started in the academy and pulled up to the door, we set a date to meet up. Ronnie wanted to get me in the ring and, see if I can put my money where my mouth was and things I told him over the phone and what I've been preparing and what I wanted to do. And the first time I got in the ring and stood in the center of it, at that point for me, wherever the journey took me and takes me from there, even if it's nowhere, it's somewhere because I made it here. It made me feel like an opportunity that has been a long time in the memory of the making and in my imagination was right before me. And I wasn't going to be upset if wherever it went because I finally made it here. Someone gave me a chance, someone gave me an opportunity, someone understood that I earned this chance and earned this opportunity. And I wasn't going to let anything shake that feeling no matter how far it went.
Duck one, something, duck the clothesline. And I shoot you off and you come back and you don't do it. All
right, well, I'm Mitch Malik. My name's Mitch Malik, and I met Darren through training. First time I met him was probably back in July, I guess. We actually become pretty good friends. I give him rides after practice a lot, and we have time to talk to each other. I was surprised when I first met Darren, the fact that he was blind, of course, and then he told me about his life, and I was just like, wow, you're a really inspiring person, because he's done a lot for a short time on this earth, so I mean.
I first met Darren at the Jeffersonville Arena for wrestling. He popped up, couldn't see nobody, I helped him. My first impression meeting Darren was I held my hand out forever to shake his hand, and he did not shake my hand. He kept just staring at me, and I was like, hello, and then I figured out he was blind. So then he shook my hand.
Our trainer Ronnie was telling us about, that he was blind and he was training to become a wrestler. I thought it was really cool, that he was putting himself out there. And obviously, it's hard as it is to trained to become a professional wrestler, to try to do that on top of, you know, not having your sight. I thought it was cool that he was going after it, and I was interested to kind of see. I think when I got in, they'd already had a couple sessions with Ronnie, and so he had already, you know, put some things together, and so it was pretty impressive to see what he'd already had been able to do in the ring, you know, without his sight.
Yeah, so some memorable moments I've had training with Darren. There's many, but there's one in particular that I really enjoy was we put an exhibition together.
What's up, baby? Let's go. Let's get this. The Inspirer and Kevo are going to put on, for your consideration, a very special exhibition. So
all right, here we get our first look at Darren the Inspirer in the ring. There we go. Kevo, Darren lock up, collar on elbow. Looks like Kevo has the advantage, but Darren is wiggling. He's wiggled his way out. Now he's got the front chancery of his own. Darren with the arm wringer. Kevo flips all the way over to his back. Darren's in control and excited about it. There's the shoot off. Kevo, big shoulder tackle. Kevo's a big boy. Darren going for it. Is he going? He's going for it. He's going for the blindfold. He's going for the blindfold. He's got it hooked on Kevo. Out of the curtain. Who's hitting the ring? Oh, it's Clayton Cannon. It's the professional. Pushes Darren off. Now, the professional. He's got Darren the Inspirer in the ring all by himself. You know what? Look, is Cannon showing compassion? The people are clearly behind Darren the Inspirer. And, oh! Clayton Cannon cheap shots. He's all over Darren. Security's trying to pull him off. Clayton's having none of it. Somebody get in there and stop. He's got Darren's cane. Oh, hits him in the back. Now he's choking him with it. He's choking him with his own cane. It's down.
Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all other things will be added unto you. And I sustained some injuries, you know, while I was a wrestler and a cheerleader in high school. I remember I broke my wrist once in a wrestling match. And taking physical therapy, I was like, man, this is really cool, you know, especially when you find a good physical therapist. And I considered massage therapy and physical therapy, but I didn't want to just rub lotion on people. You know, my misconceptions of massage were, you know, well, sometimes those stereotypes can be true, but I thought that they were only isolated to that. And again, X amount of years later, and by the time I'm 28, 29, you know, people have mentioned to me, man, you're pretty good with your hands, you know, and I didn't want to bleed into the stereotype of I'm blind and I'm a massage therapist, because that gets played off of a lot. But actually, finding advanced massage therapeutics was one of the best things that happened to me. This school not only prepares you to be an excellent massage therapist, but a treatment therapist as well, where we isolate one specific semester injury assessment. And it really blew my mind how far and wide the range can go in the healing aspect of the modality that is massage and all of its many modalities. I could repair tears. I could TMJ, sciatic nerve, even different things that I've had myself, in injuries that I've sustained, you know, in the shoulder and the neck, and having fibromyalgia. That's actually where I discovered and went and explored with my doctors and such, where I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I'd gotten in so many different accidents, whether it had been hit by a car or fell off a bus, in combination with those traumas and, you know, various emotional traumas. Fibromyalgia is something I have to live with, you know, every single day. And knowing and understanding what pain is, and knowing and understanding how to relieve it and heal it and treat it, has been very gratifying. So I graduated with my massage license about 3 years ago, and it's been successful as much as a male can be in a massage world during a pandemic, but people are being helped and people are finding heal, and it's been lovely. It's been absolutely lovely. So welcome to my humble abode. This is where Darren T Therapeutic Massage takes place. All right, Matt, how you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing all right. Let me get your temperature real quick.
All right.
take mine first. What does that say?
33.7.
Perfect. And then let's get yours. Lines put. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yours.
33. Matt Elder.
I'm Amber Glass.
Well, we were members over at a gym called The Factory in Louisville, and I saw Darren working out a few times by himself, and then he asked for help with something one day. I can't remember what he was asking her help with, but I helped him out, and we started talking about training and what he likes to do in the gym, and he told me he's a licensed massage therapist, and I said, oh, that's cool. And he invited me over for like a complimentary session, and I was hooked. I was like, you do really awesome work. Definitely helped me out a few times.
It helped a lot with my hip mobility because I have screws in both of my hips. So trying to get down to depth in my squat was always kind of a struggle with how tight my hips were. Again, too, with shoulder mobility as well. I also had brain surgery a couple years ago, and him kind of breaking up the scar tissue. That helped a lot with my bench, and also just getting underneath the bar.
We're both competitive powerlifters. It's where you do 3 movements: the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. I think I've been competing since 2017. Amber's been competing since
2018. I did my first meet when I was 5 weeks pregnant. I didn't break any records, of course, but, you know, I came in 3rd in my weight class.
I met Matt and Amber 2 years ago at the Factory Gym, and, you know, us having a shared love of athleticism and health and wellness was the draw, but you know, I developed some friends as well as clients, even in, you know, their child at the time who was in the womb and winning powerlifting competitions and kicking me during massages, and even receiving one herself when she was born, you know, Amelia, and it's been really heartwarming having them a part of my life, and I really value marriage and their family lifestyle, and they're moving in a couple of days, and so it's such a rewarding profession, getting to, you know, watch people grow, whether it be with their competitive powerlifting or just as a family. So I'm definitely gonna miss them as valued clients, and I'm sure we'll see each other, you know, a little less often, but still not a forever gone. So yeah, it's just been a real pleasure working with Matt and Amber.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I felt it, but
Yeah.
hopefully they...
Sean can, well, Thomas is really short.
Sounds short enough to fit right under.
All right, Sean, if you want to show Sandra to this first set of seats, I'm going to show the ring to Helena first. And then, unless you guys...
Excuse me.
Sean, just keep following me. And so to your right,
My name is Sandra Williams. That's Sandra Williams. And oh wow, I met Darren quite some time ago when he was a recent, at that point, high school graduate, and I actually met him at a technology event.
And my name is Helena Emery. I have known Darren for several decades, even when he was probably in middle school.
Oh wow.
I have worked with Darren in many, in his acting career, but just seeing him go through a lot of things.
I think just the amount of balance, the amount of knowing where you are, listening for the various sounds that can tell you where you are, and I think it has to take a lot of skill, a lot of practice.
When I got out of high school, I wanted to dance. I still was kind of on a high from being the first male of winning the outstanding cheerleading competition for Kentucky. So I still wanted to dance. I wanted to dance a lot more. And after being turned down from various dance studios telling me that I need to find a place for special people, or you need an all-stars group, or I don't think this is a good fit for you, Absolute Dance Studio said, no, come on, we'll see what happens. And I did dancing for a few years competitively, as well as modeling and stand-up comedy. And I had never considered acting, at least not officially. But when the courses was presented when I was in college, I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be fun. That definitely sounds like me.
Dude, you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. I got this.
Okay, just checking. I've got a lot riding on you. I told him that you're a really good chef, okay?
Yeah, I know. Just let me do my thing. I got this. And it didn't take much for me to catch the theater bug and everything that it encompasses, because I got to use some of the dancing skills that I developed. I got to use my presentation of stand-up comedy and how to work a stage or a camera, when I do find it where it is, through modeling. And so things just kind of started to build block onto each other. And my love of visual art is still inside me, but I realized I can create images without having to actually draw them. It still hurts that I can't look at my own modeling pictures and give it the thumbs up. I don't know if in my own perspective I would want to open my eyes a little bit more. I wish I turned a little more this way. I wish the light would have hit just right. Even growing up watching America's Next Top Model, like I couldn't see everything that was going on the screen, but it was so exciting to think about the design of these photo shoots and the images that can be created. After the pandemic last year, with everything closing down, I had it in my mind, after losing 30 pounds of depression weight, where I was bodybuilding before, but then everything kind of went down. So in an attempt to rebuild myself, I got some workout equipment, paid it off and everything, and it's been a year and I have not touched it, because that's how real depression is. It may not be something that people talk about very often, but it's real enough that it can keep you from doing the things that you really desire to do. It could become debilitating. It could make you feel like you're being lazy when you're really just mentally bogged down. But as the Inspirer, I continue to fight through it, and one day at a time, making strides towards achieving your goals. It's easy going to training because there's other people there influencing you, working out with you, everybody pushing each other to make it to 100 squats and 100 push-ups. But something about coming home by yourself and not just because with the world changing, but the depression I even battled beforehand, it could feel like you can't do it alone, and truly we don't do anything alone. So the workout equipment is here, and one day I will defeat that layer of depression strong enough that I'll put my good pounds back on and put the muscle back on.
My name's Alonzo Badler Jr. I've known Darren over 12 years. Well, our main hobby, we're both were huge wrestling fans, and that's how we first started off our strong bond connection with wrestling. But then after that, he just became like a mentor, a leader. He's just like a big inspiration in my life.
My name is Big Smooth. I am the modern blessing of professional wrestling and the child of the Most High. I'm the current Spartan Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And Darren, simply put, he is my brother. Well, Darren actually reached out to me via Facebook. And both of us share the same bloodline heritage to being the children of Israel. So I met Darren through that. He reached out to me, told me who he was, what he was about to do and try to do in his life, and I was like, man, this is some very impressive stuff, bro. But just through the phone calls that we have and the conversations about training and the things that we share as far as feedback between moves and character development and everything, like I could go on and on about this brother's knowledge of wrestling, even his short time in the business, man. Like, this is a good brother just to talk to.
At first, when I got to the ring, I had no clue how any of this was going to work. And a part of me relished in that. A part of me really enjoyed the fact that I had no clue how it was going to work. But what I did know was that in mat wrestling, or also called amateur wrestling, there is a rule when we wrestle public schools or sighted people that we have to stay in contact. If the opponent breaks apart from us, the referee blows the whistle, calls us back to center, and links us back together. This way, the sighted opponent cannot run up on the blind person at any moment, whether they can hear them or detect them or not, and knock them down, and it would just make for an advantage for the sighted person. But in this wrestling, there are no rules. There are no special rules. There are no special accommodations. And I'm the only one there who is blind. So, that seems to be the most popular question. Is everybody else there blind too, so that it's all fair? And no, absolutely not. Everybody's on the same playing field, and I like that, because in the real world, we are all on the same playing field. So there should be a way for some sports, at least, to be able to keep us all on the same playing field without taking away from the sport too much.
My name is Darren the Inspirer, and it is time for you to look, listen, and feel me. Welcome to Grindhouse, Mr. Mike. Can we give a round of applause to Mr. Mike? And Mike, you don't know it, but you're correlated with your majesty of the microphone. So welcome to royalty that welcomes you here to Grindhouse Professional Wrestling. Mike is here to give us a little bit of dose of inspiration, because he sees with the eyes of inspiration, insight, influence, and integrity. But Mike and I, we've been listening to some things. We've been overhearing, eavesdropping a bit just by default, and some of y'all are murmuring in the back that you need to be able to have sight to wrestle here. I, for one, don't take those comments very lightly, but as the light that shines through me, I'm here to inspire all of you that with or without your sight, you can accomplish any goal, as the man who walks by faith and not by sight. Satisfaction, guaranteed.
I'm always surprised when people want to become a professional wrestler anyway. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised they stick around sometimes, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's demanding physically, but it's more the mental thing that gets most people. And anyone who comes in, tries it, and quits, it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. Darren's mental toughness is outstanding, and I guess it makes sense. I mean, if I was in his predicament, I would suppose I'd have to be pretty doggone mentally tough to live in a world that's built for people with sight. The fact that he not only survives but thrives in a world that's built for sight when he doesn't have it says a lot about him.
If I just had to say anything about Darren, I just want to say that he's actually a really genuine person. He cares a lot, and he's really freaking smart.
Stand-up comedy, modeling, martial arts, massage therapy, and wrestling made me feel like I got to do more with my life. Darren's a great guy, though. He's probably the nicest person I've ever met. Really glad to have him as a friend now.
I don't have anything to complain about, in Grindhouse. There's been a couple of people that have come through that are just like, I don't know how to work with him. I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, we're going to figure it out. That's what we're here for. That's, like any training, no bodybuilder bench presses 500 pounds his first time out. It doesn't work that way. You got to work up to it. The mentorship that I received from Ronnie far exceeds and I can say it far exceeds his duties as a coach, but in his mind, he's coached and trained so many different aspects of sports and athletics and people in general that for him, it's another beautiful day to get to shine his light. And I hope to get to wrestle him one day too.
disability and you guys cheered him on, and you could kill him in this business doing that. I would like to welcome Kevo and Darren out here so we can talk about it. You did witness a massacre last month. You witnessed a mainland. But let me tell you what else you witnessed. You witnessed how difficult it is living life a little bit differently in a world that doesn't naturally include you. Metaphorically speaking, that beating was nothing compared to the beatings in the game of life that I've endured. So if I can cut it out there, I know I can cut it in here. It's abhorrent of management to let someone with such a debilitating disability compete. Clayton took both of you out. Both of you. By himself. He might be a big man, but you're not a man at all when it comes to it. Clayton beat the hell out of you, and you couldn't do anything about it, Darren. I know you can't see me, but you can hear, you can listen. These people might cheer you, but all they're gonna do is break you.
The circus, probably one of the most inclusive places I have ever been a part of, was Louisville Turner's Circus. And I can't ignore any of the hands that have helped me get up to where I am, and I want to continue to climb mountains and exceed expectations so that other blind people and people who are different know that the opportunities are there if you fight for them. If you really, really want it bad enough, it will bring itself to you, and then you put your all into it. Growing up without a father is quite interesting because you are constantly trying to find your own identity somewhere, who you are, how you speak, how you walk, and we model after our parents and role models that are closest in our lives, especially ones that are consistent. But when you don't have that representation there and having to constantly feel it out is really rough. It's hard to know who to trust, who to want to identify with, and sometimes you find mentors that eventually aren't a mentor anymore for something you find out or discover, and so trust is very difficult. I would say I was at the University of Louisville, and I remember there was a big trip planned to where was it? I can't remember where it was right now, but it was in Asia, and they were going to do a play there, and I was discriminated against for going because they didn't want to take care of me. They thought I needed an aid, or you need this, or you're gonna ultimately I'm gonna slow things down. And of course that wasn't the words they used, but I did not get to go on that trip. Well, we got a new director in an African American theater program, Dr. Darren Kelly, and he came in making such an impact on myself and other young men like me who may not have had a father figure or a male role model growing up either. And just the way he spoke to us like men, the way he taught us how to speak for ourselves. And he formulated a trip and took us all to New York on a 5-day trip. And that man knows New York like the back of his hand, okay? We visited lots of theaters. He's constantly describing things to me, and in a way where it was natural and inclusive, and I really felt a part of a family and a group. And out of all the discrimination I faced for all the aspects of art that I've tried to indulge in that didn't naturally include blind people, that to me was a role model in Darren Kelly. And Ronnie Roberts has taken that torch and even ran further with it at Grindhouse. I was really blessed to have found him to be a coach, and in fact we actually kind of look alike. It freaks out Billy a little bit. She'll look over and she'll be like, whoa, just these moments where you see us next to each other, possibly making it, and I can't see him, but which to me makes it more interesting. We have a lot of similar interests. I mean, you just talk about a perfect finding in Ronnie, and much like Baron Kelly, Ronnie's not just teaching me how to wrestle, but he's teaching me how to be a man, how to stand up for myself even further than what I already do, how to continue to be a stronger inspirer in every aspect of my life. His favorite thing to say is, just ask me. All you have to do is ask me. Just ask me. He makes himself accessible and available. I don't feel different when I'm in the ring with him. There's plenty of times where he's blindfolded himself and he's like, all right, let's figure this thing out. We're gonna figure this out. Like, how does this work? And it's exciting. It's refreshing when someone wants to work with you, not for their tokenism or for their pat on the back, and not necessarily strictly for you, but for the sheer fact that somebody shares something that you do and they want to be included. One of the worst forms of bullying is disclusion. Hitting a kid, knocking a kid down, picking on them. At least to that degree, they're still getting somewhat of attention, but to completely disclude someone or a group of people that you feel superior than it's heart-wrenching. You go home hurting more from being ignored and discluded than you would from a black eye or a busted lip any day.
He doesn't fear much, but there's some things in the ring. He is afraid. He has a tendency to be afraid of really hurting someone. We're still in the process of teaching him that with that mindset is how you really hurt someone. It's like you riding a bike and there's a rock in front of you and you're like, don't hit that rock, don't hit that rock, don't hit that rock, and you're so focused on that rock that you go hit that rock. My main advice to him is you gotta relax. When you go swing somebody, you have to swing and hit them pretty hard. Believe it or not, we hit each other pretty hard in this ring. It's just part of it. It's something you want to do. So to get him to let go of his inhibitions, and he's worried about hurting other people, and not even worried about getting himself hurt. It's kind of funny. So my main advice is, one, you got to relax and go hard at all times. The half-assed stuff is going to get you hurt. Two, you got to be yourself. He is there in the Inspire he was there in the Inspire before he came here. I know that sounds like some kind of wrestling gimmick, some kind of wrestling name, but he was the Inspire before getting here. I just need him to be himself. To be he's self-motivated. All he has to do is exude that confidence he has and exude all the experience that he's had in theaters, he has in jiu-jitsu and karate and all that. He just needs to take that, put it on display, and he's gonna be just fine. That's it. It's that simple, really. And we got Philip Black and Kevo with the tie-up. Philip Black working into the front chancery. Now, he may want to keep it on his feet. Now we have Darren out there cheering Kevo on. There we have Philip Black. Oh, big DDT from Philip Black. I don't know if Kevo's going to be able to get up from this one. He got out at 2. Philip Black not happy. Philip Black pulling Kevo up by his hair. What else is he gonna do to this man? Throws the clothesline. Kevo ducks. Turns him around. Oh, just bulldozes him into the buckle. Big Show attacking. Kevo pulling Philip Black up to his feet. Hooks him around the waist. Got him up. Big side walk slam. Kevo's excited. The people are excited. Darren's excited. Philip Black's in trouble. Here we go. Kevo just biding his time, waiting for Philip. What's he got in store for him? Rings the arm up. Hooks him. Here comes the Northern Lights. Here comes an Angelo. Angelo in. Attacking Kevo. Referee calls for the bell. Philip Black. Now Angelo, Darren in. Angelo and Darren going at it. Darren taking on Angelo. Philip Black taking on Kevo. This has gotten out of control. The referee has left the ring. He's calling for the guys to stop. Darren's got Angelo. Is he hooking for the blindfold? At the same time, Kevo's got the crossface. They're gonna make them facing each other. Kevo with the crossface, Darren with the blindfold. Both guys tapping out, crying out for agony. What a show from Kevo and Darren, the Inspirer. This wasn't a tag match, but we can say we know who won this one. Kevo and Darren celebrate as they should.
The training and hard work that me and Ronnie put in is not going to go to waste. The training and hard work that Dr. Baron Kelly and I put in is not going to go to waste. All the different aspects of everything I've done, all the different places I've made my mark and shined my light will not go to waste. And they've all been another building block towards this empire or this castle that is the Inspiration Nation.
I'm really looking forward to seeing where we go with Darren. Not just here, but just in general, where this, I feel like we've put some wings on him and he's starting to fly. I can't wait to see where that actually goes, whether it's wrestling or he ends up transcending wrestling. I just think there's potential there for him to be super successful at whatever avenue he wants to do, with wrestling just being kind of the jump off point, if that makes sense. He's a special guy. And I don't say that because he's sitting here and this is his thing or whatever. He truly is. From the first time I met him and I put him in that ring, it was a decision that I had to make whether or not I was going to train him. Just because you come in and throw money at me doesn't mean that I'm going to train you. That's not my style. You'll find people who are like that. It's just about the money for them. I want you to be successful. I care about, what you do, what you look like, where you go from here. Your money, yes, I have a skill that people pay me to teach them things, but that's not what it's about. It's about that person's inner growth and watching them grow. So when he came in and we put him in that ring, I put him in that ring and I let him kind of fill it out and move around, and then I tested him. From that day forward, I felt like I knew we had something special there, because there's people who can see who wouldn't be able to go in there and move around as well and know where they were in that wrestling ring as he did. So I'm just a very much proud papa kind of moment thing. That's how I feel when I see Darren doing his thing, and I can see the future is going to be bright, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Darren the Inspirer continues to grow in his wrestling career and continues to inspire everyone around him. He also continues his career as a massage therapist and has begun a podcast called Imagine Blind Players to help inspire others like him and everyone who needs it. All praises to the highest God. Credits: Director/Editor Derek Spruill. Camera Operator Derek Spruill. Camera Assistant Dion Tovira. Drone Operator Derek Spruill.
Slung him right off. Hard fall for Darren the Inspirer. And Damian Chambers on the apron, eliminated by the Tiny Hoss. Philip Black grabs Tiny Hoss.
Producer Darren Harbour. Music provided by Motion Array and Darren Harbour. Matches verbal commentary Ronnie Roberts. Verbal commentary Derek Spruill. Location Scout Darren Harbour.
They're dropping like flies now. Turbo Floyd going at it with Kevo. Oh, big chop from Turbo Floyd. Cash Jackson stalking Turbo Floyd himself, turns back around and a big right hand greets him.
Interviews: Darren Harbour, Ronnie Roberts, Mitch Malik, Haley J. Corey Craddock, Kevin Porter, Matt Elder, Amber Glass, Sandra Williams, Helena Emery, Alonzo Battle Jr., Big Smooth. Filmed using Blackmagic design cameras and DJI Mavic drone.
Oh, 3-4 ends it with the European uppercut. Oh. And before he can capitalize, Mitch Malik grabs him and starts beating him up himself.
Special thanks: Grindhouse Pro Wrestling Academy, Too Tough Tony, Fund for the Arts. Ronnie Roberts. Megan Coleman. American Printing House for the Blind. And a special thanks to everyone involved.
Wrapped up a submission hold in the Rumble. Mitch Malik has been eliminated. Darren the Inspire has Philip Black tied up like a pretzel at the moment. Boom, the Outrunners are on the ropes. Cash Jackson, Kebo. Now Philip Stilly Starks come, breaks it up. Boom. She's laying those forearms on Cash Jackson like he owes her money.
A4 Sake Media Production.